what really excites me is that there's really that variety and that interest in the industry, even outside the Philippines. People are getting really interested in the Philippine cacao and the Philippine chocolate market. We want to serve the global market, not just the Philippine market. So that's a way of making the Philippine chocolate known and put us in the map for chocolate.
Ito yung cacao clone na recognize na heirloom cacao.
Philippine chocolate is having a sweet moment. And it seems there's no stopping this young industry's growing momentum. As international awards for Philippine beans and bars are pouring in from the world's leading tastemakers, interest in our country's homegrown cacao and the chocolate it produces is at an all-time high. Not bad for a resurging trade that's barely a decade old.
Some of the multinational players now in the chocolate industry have now started to pay attention, or at least take a look at the Philippine market as a good origin source.
Since launching our products in May of 2017, when we only had 2 products, we now have significantly more. I believe at the moment we're at 24 international awards in the past 2 years.
This global recognition has not only brought a sense of pride and accomplishment to existing farmers and chocolate makers, but it has also succeeded in encouraging more farmers to plant cacao. It's a crop that the world desperately needs. Statistics show an increasing demand for cacao amid a diminishing supply, making a worldwide shortage imminent. The global demand for cacao is estimated to reach 5 million metric tons in the coming year, but a shortage is also predicted at 1 million tons. Numbers like these are a clear indicator of demand for the export market. And the Philippines is betting big.
We're lucky that the industry has been noticed by our different government agencies, that we have DOST has this step up and they finance you with your machine, which are very expensive, and also more results from the awards that we get.
The government is committed to lending a hand, assisting farmers with the intention to grow the nation's output of fermented beans by 40% annually. Through the distribution of high-quality seedlings, a steady transfer of knowledge of good farming practices and production protocols, and by promoting the chocolate industry locally and abroad, it's strengthening agricultural productivity and providing more opportunities for the Filipino farmer. Cacao was first brought to the Philippines by its Spanish colonizers in 1670 during the galleon trade. As the crop thrives best in equatorial areas, the southern islands of the Philippines provide an ideal climate for it to flourish. Despite the 350-year head start, though, cacao has never been a priority until today. While commercial cacao farming began as early as the 1950s, climate change, infestation, and unfavorable market conditions factored into its collapse. Over the past decade, however, steadfast farmers and eager entrepreneurs have been working to reinvigorate the industry. Rob Crisostomo is the founder of Seedcore Agricultural Industrial Corporation. He works with cacao farmers in many capacities. An exporter of cacao to Barry Callebaut, the world's largest manufacturer of high-quality chocolate, and a budding chocolatier under the Tigre y Oliva label, Rob is a risk-taking social entrepreneur that has invested both his time and money in this promising industry.
Having a good product or end product requires having good raw material. As a chocolate maker, and these chocolate makers also experience the same thing, it was also a step-by-step process in being able to work with farmers, suppliers, or processors to improve their technology and how to process the raw material, how to harvest the fruits at the right time, how to ferment the beans properly. So basically, that supplier and chocolate maker relationship also started to improve over the past 3 to 5 years. And so now we have 3 or 4 chocolate makers from the country being awarded internationally. You've got Malagos, Tio and Filo, Oro, who are actually the forerunners or the first guys that have been moving forward, and happily their chocolates have been awarded. But simultaneously now, the raw material guy as well, there was a farmer that was like awarded as a top 20 bean producer. And so now the Philippines, as both a chocolate making producer and a raw material producer, are now both parts of the chain are being awarded. So I feel that's only the beginning, right? So once you have that international perception that there is quality products coming out, at least from the chocolate industry, from this country, and there is some sort of credibility on the raw material that they're using, because now it's internationally awarded, even the raw material. So I would imagine that the innovation, as well as the public perception, both locally and internationally, will really be, probably move at a faster pace now.
Oh, kasi that's the very important step also, aside from, of course, genetics. Mainit. Tomorrow, there are girls here coming over and then they break the pod.
Charita Puentespina and her son Rex are recognized as the leading pioneers in the country's new chocolate narrative. Their Davao-based Malagos chocolate is one of a handful of tree-to-bar processors, and it has played a seminal role in reviving the local cacao industry. Together, the mother and son duo has transformed the way the world sees and tastes Philippine chocolate.
My mom, who is an avid farmer, in 2003, the property at the back of the resort was up for sale, and they decided to buy the property, which has already cocoa trees. Luckily, also we have this sustainability team from Indonesia, the Mars Cocoa Sustainability Team. They taught us how good agricultural practices on cacao farming. So we learned from them and taught also our neighbor farmers how to grow cocoa, and then eventually exported the beans to abroad as a raw material. That was from 2006 to about 2010, 11. And then 2012, we decided to go on to chocolate making.
After massive rehabilitation of farmland that the Puentespinas acquired in 2003, they began working with a consultant from the world's leading manufacturer of chocolate, the Mars Wrigley Confectionery. In 2007, Malagos began exporting its fermented cacao beans. 5 years later, the family started making their own chocolate in a newly built facility located only a few hundred meters from where the cacao grows. Soon after, Malagos chocolate received accolades from prestigious awarding bodies in London and Paris, and the awards have not stopped coming in. Today, it's the country's leading craft chocolate maker, supplying retail stores, restaurants, and home bakers around the globe.
I realized that our chocolates has a very big potential or can compete side by side with other chocolate makers around the world. And then in 2017, we were recognized by the Cocoa Excellence Award. It's a initiative by the Biodiversity International. It's an organization that helps cocoa farmers to be recognized around the world for growing fine flavored chocolate. So when we were selected top 50 cocoa bean in 2017, ayun na, wow, so I think we're doing good, or we're doing the right processes that at the farm, because it was the bean and the farmer that was awarded, it was not the chocolate. So that was, I think, the turning point. Now we can really compete side by side with the best chocolates in the world. And then in the first January of 2019, another recognition on the genetic material that we are growing. Our PF16 was recognized an heirloom cacao by the Fine Chocolate Industry Association. It's an organization based in the United States, and the bean was recognized again for its fine flavor quality. So I think that that was a turning point to keep us, inspired and make really good chocolates from our cocoa bean.
The best chocolate can only come from the best cacao pods. Growing side by side a range of tropical fruit trees, the combination of distinct soil and weather gives malagos cacao its own unique flavor notes.
The source, so the source of the bean is from one single locality. So in our case, it's about 20-kilometer radius. So there has this very distinct flavor also because of genetics, the terroir I mentioned, the environment we have here, the rainfall, the soil, and of course the way na ferment.
All chocolate processors worth their weight in cacao identify as bean-to-bar makers. Whether working with cacao beans during the roasting process in order to enhance the unique characteristics of a single origin source, or by creating new chocolate confectionery informed by cultural taste profiles and influenced by their imagination, this new crop of chocolate makers has changed the way the world consumes chocolate. Filo Chua of Theo and Filo is one such maker. An industry forerunner, Theo and Filo was the first Filipino craft chocolate maker that made its chocolate exclusively with Philippine cacao, and to brand it as such.
Each chocolate maker has their own personality with their brand, with what they do. So what really excites me is that there's really that variety and that interest in the industry, even outside the Philippines. People are getting really interested in the Philippine cacao and the Philippine chocolate market.
While local consumers are a bit more conventional in the chocolate they consume, Theo and Filo's export market is enjoying the intriguing flavors being offered by this distinctly Filipino chocolatier.
So this year we got some awards from the Academy of Chocolate and also from the Northwest Chocolate Festival and also from the International Chocolate Awards. So mainly we were given a lot of awards for a lot of our Filipino flavors. So that's what's really they find distinctive about us, the unique Filipino flavors that we can offer with our chocolate brand.
Modern artisanal chocolate makers are also emerging entrepreneurs. They know that in today's marketplace, theirs is never just a local story. Niche players without large infrastructure can still compete globally, thanks to social media. But in a world where first impressions are made instantly and seemingly last forever, product image and aesthetic are everything. A love for food, a mind for business, and the desire to help improve the lives of fellow Filipinos are what prompted Oro co-founders Mark Ocampo and Kelly Go to become chocolate makers.
Oro Chocolate is a proudly Filipino bean-to-bar chocolate company. We actually started the company in 2015, but we launched the product only May of 2017. And so a lot of what we do involves working directly with farming communities. And so at the moment, we actually work with around 2,000 families representing around 3,000 hectares in Davao. And so I think it's really interesting because the Philippines really has the opportunity to work more closely with the community because we are in the country where it grows, and we also have the opportunity to make chocolate as well.
Although still a relative newcomer, Auro's impact on the Philippine chocolate industry has been profound. This bean-to-bar company has a 2,000 square meter facility in Calamba, Laguna, equipped with a state-of-the-art machinery that produces its fine chocolate. That, combined with an energetic marketing campaign that incorporates cleverly designed packaging and highlights a chocolate bar and food crawl around Manila's hippest dining corridor.
Since launching our products in May of 2017, when we only had 2 products, we now have significantly more, which we're really excited about because it means a lot, not just for us, but with the farming partners that we do work with. One of the main awards that actually we received was the Cacao of Excellence Award, being awarded part of the top 20 best cacao beans in the world. And so this was in partnership with one of our farming partners, with Jose Saguban. This was really important for us because we actually had been working with him from the very beginning. When we found out about this, we were already really excited. And so we decided that it would be really meaningful to bring Mang Jose to Paris to receive his award personally. It really strikes you, right, deep in the heart.
While Filipino chocolate makers have been busy making some great products, local retailers have also stepped up their support in their promotion of the finest chocolate. Today, Philippine chocolate has become a popular gift and souvenir choice.
The chocolate industry is growing in the country, and so has demand for both local and tourists. Ever since Cultura started, we've been carrying Philippine cacao and tablea. And then 5 years ago, we started carrying and bringing in Philippine crafted brands of chocolates, and it started growing since. In the past, we experienced receiving balikbayan boxes filled with imported chocolates. And now that the local chocolate industry is gaining popularity, we're starting to see a trend where our customers bring these pasalubong or gifts to their friends and families overseas.
Even with priced raw materials, enthusiastic entrepreneurs, and award-winning cacao and chocolate, perhaps what makes the Philippine chocolate industry most attractive to potential partners is the fact that the industry is still young and flexible.
Whereas the Philippines is still young enough and as an industry to be able to shape the way farmers process it. And so that's something that's going for the Philippines. And with the growth of the craft chocolate market, we can see it as growers or as agricultural people that work in the sourcing. We can see that these craft chocolate makers are making a huge impact in the way farmers are processing it because they pay farmers better prices than the traditional commodity companies. But because these guys are end craft chocolate makers, they're very much connected to the way the beans taste in the end. It's not blended with too many things. And so they do pay the premium, but they also demand a certain level of quality from the farmers that they buy from. And so that type of culture is sort of like being introduced and it's now starting to shape the way farmers are now treating or processing their beans. And so those would probably be the factors that are shaping the Philippine chocolate industry now. And so I feel the outsiders are now starting to see all of these different mechanisms working. And so, you see it in the awards. People are starting to value that. And sometimes it's the chicken and egg thing. People, the moment you start getting awards, people start wanting your product more, right? So.
Although the Philippines was the first country in Asia to grow cacao 4 centuries ago, it has yet to reach its full potential. But with a natural bounty of the best cacao species on the planet, a supportive government, and a proud people to champion its endeavors, this determined community of farmers and makers committed to sustainability and fair trade know that the realization of their collective vision for the Philippine cacao farmer is well within reach.